So with the Cleveland Cavaliers' mediocre start to this season, I feel like it's time for us as an NBA community to give up on the idea of Evan Mobley ever being a top 10 player. Coming into the year, a lot of people believe Evan Mobley will be the piece that takes the Cavaliers on top because we've seen somewhat of a growth in his game, especially last season. I mean, he was shooting the three pretty well and reliably, and he took a pretty nice scoring jump of about 3 to 4 points a game. And with all that being said, we thought Evan Mobley would finally, reach that scoring potential that we've seen from him coming out of USC. But so far to start out the season, Evan Mobley, he shot the ball lower percentage-wise than what he did last year. I mean, he's still shooting pretty well, but, you're 5 percentage points lower, a couple more shot attempts. And, his three-point percentage decline just a tad bit. I don't expect him to be like a knockdown shooter from three, but, it's something to keep track of. But yeah, I'm just honestly done with the idea of Evan Mobley being like this 26 point per game scorer, 12 rebound dude that also plays very elite defense. I feel like we had a decent amount of time to gauge Evan Mobley as a player. He's a great and elite defensive talent, but that scoring instinct's just not in him. He's one of the most non-aggressive stars in the league. I mean, you would expect this guy to take over games and whatnot due to his play style and his capabilities that he has on the offensive end. He has a pretty reliable mid-range shot. He can hit the three pretty well. He's a great post player. You would expect this guy to dominate, but he just kind of shrinks. And maybe it's due to the fact that Donovan Mitchell is having a career year so far to start out the season. I think he's averaging like 32 points per game. And, Garland's came back into the mix, and maybe that's causing a little bit of turmoil between who gets this shot, who gets that shot, etc., etc. But Evan Mobley just more often than not just looks timid on the offensive end. And, his highest scoring game this season so far has been against Toronto. He had 29. But you would think with Garland being out for, I think, like the first month of the season, Mobley would have been averaging like 25, 26 a game, helping Mitchell kind of carry this Cavs team to some wins, and that just hasn't been the case at all. And I feel like a player that's pretty similar, kind of resembles Evan Mobley in a way, is Brandon Ingram. Coming out of Duke, we believed Brandon Ingram was the next Kevin Durant. And, he has a pretty good scoring game. Like, he's not a bad scorer, but he's just timid. And that's kind of just what Evan Mobley is. Now, something that Evan Mobley has over Brandon Ingram is, elite defensive capabilities. But they kind of resemble each other in the sense that, yes, they can score the ball here and there. And yes, they can put up numbers here and there. But when it comes down to, getting the ball and getting a basket, they're just not that kind of guy. Even in Toronto, Brandon Ingram to start out the first month of the season was hot. I mean, he had a pretty good game tonight against the Bucks. He had 29 points, but there's some streaks here and there where he's just cool, just going with the flow of the offense and not really asserting himself. And that's kind of like how I see Evan Mobley. I feel like he'd probably just get to a probably 20 and 10 kind of guy. I mean, that's what he basically is right now. Just hover around 20 and 10 for like the next 10, 15 years while also providing the elite defensive capability. And that's just kind of the player he's going to be. And that's not a bad player necessarily. It's just that, coming into the league, we fell in love with the idea of Evan Mobley just being like this 26 and 12 type of guy. I mean, his comparison was Kevin Garnett coming out of USC, so that just goes to show like how high as an NBA community we thought of Evan Mobley. And I feel like it's recently become a trend that as an NBA community, we start, focusing on these like very tall guys that have guard capabilities. Cooper Flagg, obviously he's balling out. I will say that. I mean, he's been playing wonderful for the Mavs. But we fall in love with these kind of like hybrid players, very tall guys. Alex Sarr is like the perfect example. People were saying he's the next Wemby, or could potentially be the next Wemby. And even he's playing good, but we put these unrealistic expectations on these guys, calling them the next Kevin Durant, the next, whatever. And, most of these guys, they just don't have the edge in them to score like a Kevin Durant. And who knows, maybe Evan Mobley, he's like a kind of a late bloomer. Maybe when he's like in 30 or whatever, he'll have a season where he averages like 23, 24 a game. But as of right now, I just don't see that, and I feel like a lot of people are starting to give up on the idea of Evan Mobley reaching that scoring potential that a lot of people seen when he was coming out of USC. But yeah, that's just my take on the Cleveland Cavaliers and Evan Mobley as a whole. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think, if Evan Mobley still has something promising, or just let me know your gripes with his game in general. But yeah, just comment down below, like and subscribe, and I'll catch y'all next time.